And welcome in to the final episode of the Goats of Wrath campaign. Um, we will conclude the story of our heroes and the entropic spheres, and then find out what each individual character's epilogues will be. But, brief summary of last time out. You five stood between all of Accalion and the fathomless void. You engaged Zenedis and his minions as the rolling entropy of Abaddon leaked into the material plane, and through determination, strength, and teamwork, you managed to prevail. Thrungi broke apart the form of his dread abyssal, the Rambear, keeping everyone alive with their unicorn. Balthazar burning apart dozens of zombies with a casual thought. Faendal teleporting a sphere away to the Serenity Library, fundamentally undermining the entire ritual. And Nyah succeeding in severing his connection to one of the spheres, further stopping him from completing the ritual. It came to a majestic end as you all combined ended Zenedis' cursed existence, Nyah landing the killing blow and burning his form into dust and ash. With the centre of the grand ritual slain, the power conduit through which it was all running, the cracks into the void beneath your feet sealed up, and you were left standing alone, surrounded by corpses and artifacts of ancient evil. We pick up with the five of you watching flakes of ash fall, bloody, tired, but victorious. 6 pillars of cold black stone surround you. 3 of them contain entropic spheres. 2 more lie at your feet. What do you want to do?
Hadn't thought ahead this far.
Collapse onto the floor, cry a bit.
Thrungi looks quite happy, honestly. So he's going to say, right, how the fuck do we get the spheres out?
I've dropped Tenz's transformation, so I had to. He bashed me for 70 points. Not making that concentration check. I've made my con save just now. Made it. Got 50. But I'm still dropping on the floor, and I'm going to go, let's just leave them for a minute.
The guild should be on their way. They might be able to help with that.
Yeah, they were meant to be here a while ago. Does it feel like weird time still in the area?
The effects in general that you've been feeling are still there, but not necessarily as strong as before. The temperature effect, where everything felt cold, completely gone.
Yeah, I think maybe we can just wait for the guild for a little bit.
I think so.
Based on how things were going earlier, how stable does it feel in here?
In or on?
Both.
Well, you're standing on something that was raised as part of a grand ritual. Roll me whatever your dwarven stone skill is. Call it investigation and have advantage.
I think that's what it is.
While he's rolling that, Rambear, where that rift was in the center of this whole ritual, there is still an impossible scar just in reality. It's closed, it doesn't look open, but there is like a wound unhealed that your eyes don't want to quite meet. Like every time you try to look at it, your eyes divert off. And just beneath it is about that long piece of obsidian black, like hook.
Yeah.
How
Rabbit
old is
had
13?
13. Seems alright for the moment. Might not be for long, but Rabbit?
the hook was like the tip of the like finger that was trying to get through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rambear's gonna pad on over and really try and have a look at the at the rift.
Roll me an
Honestly
intelligence saving
thought-
throw.
Honestly thought. I'm sorry.
Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Intelligence. You know what? Apparently I'm proficient in intelligence. Oh my god, I forgot. 14.
14. There's something pushing on your mind, trying to exert a will or impart something onto you, but you manage to steel yourself against it.
Cool. Healing word.
On?
The rift.
Okay. You cast
Can we
a
heal
word on the rift.
I honestly thought Rambear was going to go over and try and taste the claw. There was a bit of me that was like, I go over to the claw and eat it.
I put it in my mouth to work out what it is. Like a geologist
Rambear
would.
is just a toddler.
Uh,
Interacts with through the world with their mouth. It appears to have no effect.
Do I still have to expend that spell slot?
Yep.
That's it. No more first level spells.
it's more than I have.
Rambear is gonna mention is gonna sort of like at it like towards I guess Faendal and Balthazar, like
All right, I'll groan off the floor, pick myself up on the staff, and hobble over. Investigating it if I can. Also, there's like runic symbols on the floor, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'd love to investigate them and kind of get to the.
Cool.
If I can understand the ritual a bit better.
Roll me an Arcana check for the ritual and a medicine or religion check for the other.
Oh, 2. 27 for the Arcana.
27 for the Arcana. Okay.
And then dirty 20 religion.
Dirty 20 religion. You gain a surefire grasp of this ritual. It's predominantly conjuration, but it fuels itself on the life force of the surrounding area, essentially using that as a battery to kickstart the thing. In it you see distinctly 6 different seals, each one having its own unique combination of abyssal runes, which, with a 27, you line up to each of the 6 spheres, each one having their own certain pattern. Each sphere acting as essentially a key, which further accelerated the ritual, allowing a tear through the multiverse, essentially, to widen to proportions that any normal magic wouldn't be capable of. As for the religion check, what that thing is there is another piece of an archdemon. With that religion roll, you also remember that the 6 spheres are made of Abaddon himself as well.
So this is an incredibly dangerous artifact that can corrupt people. It has influence in it. Even
It
if
is
it's
also
just
incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Or could be.
Could we make a 7th sphere?
Could we destroy the other spheres?
Nah. Let's make more evil.
Thrungi, at
Yeah.
that point, you feel a shudder.
Yeah. Guys, this thing is going. We haven't got time to wait.
I was gonna say, how high up did we go?
100 odd feet.
Pretty high up.
I mean, the ground looks sturdy enough, doesn't it? Solid rock. The seals have formed up.
Are you seriously trying to tell a dwarf about stone, elf?
Okay. Okay. You know what? You're right.
Thrungi,
How big?
you see bits of the edge of this edifice just crumble and disappear. from
How
you.
how big is this floor?
Probably about 50-foot radius.
The claw.
Oh, the claw. Sorry, I thought you said the floor. The claw is
50-foot radius.
about that. It's about
Okay.
about a foot.
It's
It's chunky. It's like we're talking a piece.
too big for me. Rambear, open up your bag of colding.
I also
We're
have
not
the
gonna-
bag with the shark. It hasn't done much.
Evil
Do
sound.
not want. We do not want a demon shark.
Cool.
No, we do not.
But it can't get out of the bag. It's too big.
We do not. I refuse. Bag of colding, please, Rambear. I don't know which one's which. I've never seen them both. You can roll a deception if you want.
This is how campaign 2 starts. Yeah, Rambear will sort of like try and sort of use the bag of colding and like try and scooch it in, you know?
I'm gonna. If Mage Hand doesn't work, I'll also create item like.
I'm just gonna grab a stick.
A litter picker.
I'm just gonna grab a stick.
Mage Hand will do enough to push it. It won't be able to pick it up, but it can push.
What about if a litter picker? Sort of create item.
Roll me a strength
Wow.
check.
We'll do the Mage Hand.
Thrungi runs over to one of the orbs to see if he can smack it out with his axe.
I'm gonna
Any
say,
particular one? Can you even tell?
Nope, he just goes to the one that's closest to him and smacks it.
Cool, you smack it with your. Are you trying to get it out or break it?
Yes.
Well,
I think,
but the reason I ask is that depends where you're trying to hit it.
I
Because
think
you're
we
either
have.
trying to hit the stone that it's embedded in, or you're trying to hit the sphere.
I
which are
think we
different
have
things.
been explicit previously that they can't be destroyed by mortal means.
Yeah, so he's probably trying to get it out.
Okay. Roll me a strength check.
What was I doing then?
A strength check,
Yeah.
15.
15. You cleave, because it's an adamantine blade, isn't it? You're right.
It's a magical one for sure.
Definitely, I think it's adamantine. I think I gave it that. So it just, and you see this black stone when it just crack in half. You swing around to the side and essentially decapitate a solid stone pillar. And like the stone around the sphere kind of crumbles in half. So where it was like a hemisphere, it's now just a quarter sphere. Doing that, you then, as your axe collides with the sphere, doing that, and there is suddenly a wave of just disintegration energy that washes over you. You take 16, 26, 25, 40 points of force damage. And the sphere crumbles into the ground. Balthazar, you look over to see this, and you see Thrungi has rapidly aged. He's probably put on the human equivalent of about 20 years. There is heavy salt in the short beard and hair that he has, and like wrinkles kind of growing in around.
Alright, don't do what Thrungi did. Can I take my cloak off and try and pick up the 2 spheres that are on the floor? They're both by Zenedis, aren't they?
Yep.
And use that to like wrap them up and pick them up without touching them.
Yep. 2 by Zenedis. It was 2 he failed to set.
I thought you'd set 4 of them.
Yeah, I thought he just had 1 left.
He only,
Yeah.
it was the last one.
The one that Nyah was protecting by dying on top
that is
of.
correct.
It's
That is correct.
all
my
of the
bad.
left. I think he did all of the left hand. No. Yeah, he did all of the left hand side.
Yes, sorry.
And the bottom. Yeah, he did all but the top right hand corner. And I'd gotten rid of bottom right hand corner. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he had set them all, other than that one. So there was only one.
One
left.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll pick up that one.
I think that one would have been
That makes it easier, actually.
the iron one.
You could investigate them later
Oh,
because
no. Thrungi just punched the time one.
because at that point suddenly all of your stomachs lurch as the rock edifice just begins to shift underneath your feet and you feel gravity take hold as the monument to Zenedis' hubris begins to crumble and fall apart, cascading towards the earth.
Any level 4 slots to summon Electo, but could I burn a level 3 and a level 2
Together.
compensate to bring Electo?
Fine Greater Steeds are not
When did you lose Electo?
Electo died.
Die.
God.
I killed Electo. When did that happen?
Killed Electo.
Then there's proper hidden Electo.
Oh, okay.
Did you not dispel that?
Oh, did I
You
just?
said- No, you dispelled Electo to save him.
Did I?
Yeah.
I think during the fight, Electo died. No.
I think
I mean,
it had 0 hit points.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. One. Well, she was.
Regardless, you
Yeah.
spent magic enough. No.
Can,
we'll just quick leave the
and
spheres. We can recover the spheres later. Let's get out of here. Do we get the Abaddon Claw into the bag?
Yes.
Yeah. And just, you can decide which bag it actually went into.
we'll go into the bag of colding.
Okay.
What are you
Thrungi's
doing?
got a feeling for Balthazar's grabbing the other sphere with the cloth. I think I've still got the cloak. The other one. If I can run over to Thrungi and grab the
Anti-magic
other one,
one.
not anti-magic, the anti-divination one.
Right. So you're picking the one up that Thrungi got out.
If I throw that to Thrungi and he can grab that sphere. By
You
throw,
are
I mean-
You've hit terminal velocity at this point.
Whoa, that's fast. Whoa, what?
Gravity
Okay.
takes hold quick. You've
Eagle!
been running around a large area.
Wait.
Uh,
Eagles.
Enough time to run over and give Thrungi the cloth to pick that sphere up,
That's
and then
Which he does and jams it into the same bag of colding.
it won't. It's that's on the
You
other side. You
wouldn't
were
have time to do
south.
that. You can pick
Fine,
up
he's
the
just
sphere.
holding it.
You can pick it up. I'm saying you can pick it up in it like a hamper sack thing.
Yeah, that's what he's done.
Cool.
Wait.
What
So
are you doing?
are we falling right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eagles.
How many eagles?
However many I can summon. I think.
What spell slot?
It's gonna have to be a level 4. I think.
Have you got more than I have? I have literally nothing left. So
Oh, can I summon twice as many with the? Sorry, yeah, it's been a while. A whole week. Fifth
I will-
level. I can summon. I think 4 eagles.
4 eagles suddenly appear on this plummeting rock, grabbing enough of you in their claws and taking off. Just barely moments before, huge ash cloud gets kicked up as this essentially falling boulder the size of a small village crashes down onto the hills, sending rubble and earth cascading everywhere. You are caught up in the dust swirls and lose sight of each other for a briefest of moments before it begins to settle down. And you are airborne. The strong winds from before suddenly feeling diminished.
how very Mount Doom of you. flying away.
If only there were flying goats. Genuinely didn't realize we were up in the air. Had no idea.
Yeah, because it did the whole thing when we tipped downwards and it went upwards in the episode before it.
It clearly just was like.
So we're just flying away, aren't we?
Yeah. We've got as many orbs as we can deal with. Ooh boy. Like
that's 2, 1,
Yeah.
2,
You have
Two.
two
more than we've ever had
options.
before.
3 if you count that one in the library.
Which I do.
We'll come back for the other 3. Let's just get
What
to
if-
safety.
What if the horde of Zenedis followers grabs the orbs? We're gone.
Well, can we? I assume the skies are a bit clearer. Can we see the big army of skeletons, or have they
Roll me a
gone?
perception check.
I don't think there are necessarily any followers. He wasn't a popular dude
He had a huge army.
of dead things. 17.
17. You don't have a commanding view. It's still fading away, but you do have a greater view than you did before. What you can see is about that mile area that you trekked through past that magical barrier, which previously was crawling with void spiders. Seem to have gone. Where? You don't know. But they're not there.
We're in a better situation than we were. Zenedis is dead. We'll return for the spheres. Let's fly. Is it south? Fly south.
The grove.
To the grove or to the guild that's on its way. Whichever we see first.
I don't really want to return with these orbs to the grove. If we can
Then
find the guild, I'd prefer
Find
that.
the guild.
You fly for a short while, taking in the kind of abandoned landscape that's scarred and dead. Just kind of grey hills rolling for a few miles. But they're also empty. I mean, the demons that you encountered, there seems to be no sign of. Undead hordes, nothing. As I say, the skies are clearing rapidly as a strong wind comes in from the east, revealing a cold but starry night. As you realise you've survived that last day that Zenedis promised. Eventually, you can see a small group of Rambear. You notice 6 individuals kind of running towards you. They're on the ground, you're still up above. With your perception, you notice that 5 of them are wearing helmets with kind of red tufts along the top. And there appears to be a 6th one there who's broad-shouldered.
Swoop.
The red crest.
I was like, it's not those guys, and those guys are dead. It's these guys.
Yes, you did kill the other ones.
The wayward ugh.
Wayfaring.
Wayfaring.
You swoop down and kick up a bunch of ash. Initially, you see them all kind of grip their weapons as they see you approach. Before you see the large Minotaur with his twin hammers kind of sheath them upon realizing that it's eagles flying in, and the odds of eagles being affiliated in any way with Zenedis or the others is minimal. And like, you kick up the dust, and in dark, Fidelis walks towards you. Bloody hell. I didn't think I'd see you again. And he just walks in and just thrusts his arm towards Thrungi in a kind of arm-to-arm warrior's handshake.
He holds that basically lunch pouch, as it were, in one hand, in the other hand, and does it back, and then kind of goes, "Do you want this?" Frankly, I don't.
Do I want to know what it is?
It's orb-like.
I'd rather not, if I'm honest.
I don't blame you.
I had enough trouble with those things, thanks very much. I take it then, since you have one of the fucking things, it's over?
We have more than one of them.
Just how many do you have?
Point towards Balthazar.
I've got one of them. There's. Do we leave 3 on the floor?
There's 3 more back there somewhere that in amongst some rubble. It'll take time to get to them. And then 1 more, which I think should be on Gironde.
I ain't gonna question that right now.
Wise.
Ev, did you leave the skeleton horde for us, or was that unintentional?
Did you have to fight your way through?
Kinda.
Did they collapse on their own, or are they still about?
I'll be honest, I expected more out of them. I mean, something that big's usually fucking controlled, but, you know, kind of like on autopilot, if you know what I mean. There's other guild parties somewhere in the hills just to break through and make it wherever the fuck you guys were as best we could. I'm assuming you haven't seen any of them.
Nope.
You're the first we've seen.
It's been a weird situation. Time went strange.
Yeah. Don't remember you looking that old, as he points to Thrungi.
You know what things are like.
Well, you have 2 spheres. A third somewhere. Do we have a plan for these things?
I think before anything, we should rest. Come up with a plan after resting.
One of them already has a fate decided. The Sphere of Darkness will go to Vandis.
I don't think this was the time, Nyah.
I just want to make sure that they don't get any ideas for that sphere. We have given our word. It's non-negotiable.
I
We
can
must
respect
plan.
that.
Maybe can you get in contact with other members of the guild? Trustworthy members of the guild?
Yeah. Corey, send a message to Guildmaster Penguin. We'll need to gather the Guildmasters to, I suppose, figure this one out.
In the meantime, is there a way we can get word out to members in the area who don't need rest? So we can maybe protect the area and make sure nobody stumbles upon the other spheres.
We can try.
I'd say that we should gather people around the rubble around the ruins.
Yeah.
Create a barrier. Don't know how long it'll need to be there, but the barrier. Don't let anyone search for the spheres or even know they're there. No one should be touching them. Their influence is still strong.
Agreed.
There's more with that area, but we'll come back to it. We need a meeting of the Guildmasters first.
Alright. Well, most of them are out in the field somewhere. I assume the rubble site is fairly easy to spot from the air.
Oh, it's 100 feet's worth of rubble collapsed on.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Big man.
You willing to head back that direction?
Now?
Oh, if you don't want anyone going near it.
Yeah, let's set a camp. Let's set like a camp. What's the word? Helpful.
Campsite? Oh,
Sort of, no.
Forward operating base.
What we need is a
Um,
tiny hut.
That's what I was just considering. So,
With 8 hours of rest, I could tiny hut us. But I do need 8 hours of rest.
can we just... we've leveled up, yeah, Gethin?
You have, but you
Oh,
have
long
not taken a
rest.
long rest.
But I'm not talking about spells. Abilities, when you level up, do they happen straight away?
Yeah, I'd say so.
You have access to them instantly. So I don't have any spell slots, but I can cast 1 6th level spell. Or lower. As part of leveling up, I gain my final law master thing. Master of Magic. I can cast a spell as a bonus action. Any spell. Wizard spell. It does say 6th level or lower. And I want to posit to you, can I have one exception?
You're not having a magnificent mansion.
We've earned it!
We've earned a mansion, and it was because it wasn't supposed to be. It's never been originally a 6th. You've added 6th level onto that, haven't you?
No, I haven't. No, I've only had wizards. I've only added wizards to that.
Was it always a 6th? Oh, damn it! Because I've been planning it and saving it for so long to be a magnificent mansion. Never mind.
Our tiny hut would be a magnificent mansion.
Yeah, I can tiny hut us if needed.
You know what? Fuck it.
Because then it's an outpost. We can create an outpost.
Fuck
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, yes, we're happy to return. We'll set up an outpost, set up an operating base, gather everyone there.
You trek back, back the way you came. Eventually, a number of about 3 or 4 more parties turn up, along with most of the guild masters. To avoid role-playing the whole thing out, basically 3 main points come up. A, what happened to Zenedis? B, what is your plan for the spheres? And C, they then start discussing themselves as to their plan for this area in the same way as the Ashen Wastes.
So, is this place ridiculously barren now, or is it still part of Sirius and just a small barren area?
You have conversations with various other ones. Not all of Sirius is gone. There is probably about 30-mile radius about this spot that's completely desolate. And that, weirdly, ends about where the grove is.
Good, Janet.
Yeah, Janet!
Plans for the spheres, I was thinking we need to gather them all again, grab them from wherever they are, and again store them for safekeeping, but not in a permanent way. We need to temporary safekeeping, even if it's some at the guild, somewhere guarded for now, while we search for a way to permanently stop it, because we can't have this repeat. Even if it's every 100, every 1,000 years, we can't have it repeating. So, gather the spheres up, separate them, store them, give one to Vandis, and then, even if that one stays, that's the darkness one, not that dangerous for him to have, and one sphere card is a ritual. The rest, we need to figure out a way to permanently end. As for plan for the area, I'm actually going to change my... I was going to say maybe I could build a wizard tower here and just kind of live on the crack.
Nope.
Not if it's desolate for 30 miles.
Is there a way where this land could be healed, that it can regrow?
Conversation to have with Janet?
Just for my own notes, Dark Sphere's going back to Vandis.
Permanently.
I will say your conviction and success, if nothing else, it's not something they necessarily fight you too hard on, especially as the guild doesn't particularly want to piss off Lord Constantine von Racer, as the guild is pretty beaten at this point. When I say most of the guild masters are here, there is another guild master missing.
Which one?
It is the one who, I don't have the name in my head, was a mastermind rogue.
Oh. I only really remember the Thunder Cleric one.
Thunder Cleric died at the Battle of the Citadel. So what do you plan to do with the other 5?
I will return to Kirond to collect the sphere from Kirond.
When you do go there,
Oh, we do. Oh, this is. Are we putting?
well, I'll go back to that.
Are we establishing
When
plans for?
we do go there, there's some interesting stuff to cover. But okay, you'll go to there.
If people want to accompany me, I'll be going to Kirond because there's other threads to end there. Business to deal with. Other spheres.
You have 4. We could. I will say this. We'll cover it there. But the library does have a vault of its own where it keeps cursed ancient artifacts, so can hold some stuff. The adamant vault, the vault at the bottom of the Citadel, is still intact. It wasn't damaged in the Citadel fight. It was just opened. So you still have that as an option, and then anything else you want to consider.
I wouldn't mind returning to the cigarette.
Not
Yeah, in
Ashbar.
Ashbar. No, the
Kulat was the name of
Kulat. Thank you.
We could return there, but that's more difficult to get to, like, and from. We have them.
Which
safe
one do we think
and
is the
guarded.
most dangerous?
I think Pine is the most dangerous passively because it damages the places that it's in. I would say anti-magic is going to be the most difficult to keep safe. And the cold one's just going to be the most annoying to the local populace. Other than that, the Dark Sphere is going to Vandis. There's the Rift Sphere, which I don't think has any like passive stuff to the natural environment. Or is that what caused the tower to become all weird that we collected it from? Okay.
Rift plays with dimensions.
Let's not put that in a bag of holding, for sure.
Yeah, you figured that out quite early on.
It really didn't fit. And then the 6th sphere. There's not just a power sphere, is it?
So, I will say from that ritual, that Arcana 27 and various other things, the 6 spheres are the Darkness Sphere, which is sending to Vandis, the Rift Sphere, the Void Sphere, which is what Zenedis kept using to pull down entire castles. The Aeon Sphere, which you've already said, the Glassic Sphere, and then the Neutral Sphere, which is the anti-magic one.
It's called the Aeon Sphere.
Yeah. No,
I thought it
Epoch
was
Sphere.
Epoch.
Epoch
Yeah, I was
Sphere.
going to say Epoch Sphere.
Epoch Sphere. I can't remember the words.
Epoch Sphere. Maybe that. I would be reluctant to give Vandis too much power and give Constantine too much power off the bat, but if maybe he could store another one, the Epoch Sphere would do the least damage to him. But if you wish to return to Kulat, store it there.
I was thinking maybe we could see if there's a way to destroy the one we think is the worst.
I think we store them for now, and we'll do some research to destroy them. And let's save them. I don't think it's worth rushing and wasting time now. We have time. We can do this properly. Classic Sphere. That's the cold one, isn't it? So we can just
We
take
never got to where it was stored.
that up to the dwarves. You made friends with dwarves in your old hold, didn't you? Maybe they could store it. Maybe we could just store a bunch of them in the Citadel. More than one.
That seems to be
The
the
easiest.
the common consensus from the guild masters.
Yeah.
they certainly believe it's the most defendable location.
I mean, there's the roleplay moment where Faendal goes, okay, if that's the most defendable location, it fell.
It fell because 3/4 of the guild were out on a larger campaign, and the individual coming for them had 4 of the spheres already.
And also turned a bunch of members.
How are repairs going?
I mean, we've only had a couple of days at this point. The western wall is still ripped open, but arcane wardings are back up. The bridges are okay. It won't be long before we're fully protected. And
I don't see a danger in being attacked anytime soon, so I don't think it's too much of an urgent issue.
Agreed.
Store them in the Citadel. I don't think the Epoch Sphere should go there. The Rift Sphere, Glassic Sphere, and Void Sphere, I'd be wary of. Or anti-magic, and it's the Rift Sphere, Void Sphere, Glassic Sphere, anti-magic Sphere. Classic is in the library. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rift Sphere, Void Sphere, and Neutral Sphere. We already stored the Neutral Sphere there once.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough. There's not that much ambient magic, is there, in the Citadel to disrupt?
You didn't store the neutral sphere there. You saw the Epoch Sphere there.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, so and it was okay.
Seemed to be. That vault itself is heavily anti-magic. It suppresses everything.
Shall we just, for now then, store them all there? Don't worry too much about it. Get the Darkness Sphere to Constantine. We can send a message to Constantine. He'll come collect it himself, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine him leaving his land.
Emilio can come and get it.
He'll send a retinue. Yeah. And then we'll figure out what to do from there. Store the spheres in the guild. Figure out what to do from there.
Okay. You spend the time recovering there. A
Mansion.
cordon is set up with members of the guild established around the rubble. Excavations begin over the next couple of days, which do halt the rebuild of the Citadel somewhat. However, eventually everyone makes their way, but the Citadel is rebuilt. Magic is especially useful, especially when the Builders Guild of Bearfolk is relatively nearby, and it only takes another 3 days for the Citadel to be fully rebuilt. At which point there are celebrations of victory well won in the Grand Hall. There are still a few refugees from Siristir around. They've yet to return home. Call it apprehension or their own injuries, it's neither here nor there. Particularly this celebration is put on to celebrate the 2 new guild masters, who are quickly named. One of them you don't know, you haven't had any interaction with. The other is Commander Vidalis, is elevated to Guildmaster station. You all are given full commendations, honours, and the banner of your party is hung in the Great Hall alongside such ones as the Red Crest 5. And you are lauded as some of the greatest guild members that have existed since its creation. The Red Crest 5 engage in a drinking game with you, if you will have them.
Thrungi will beat him anyway.
Yeah, we'll just 1 against 5.
Yeah, it's tight initially because each team puts their weakest out first, and Faendal's not the
I think
best.
Faendal's one of the stronger ones, actually. I feel like he's got like drinking experience.
But it doesn't take long for the hardy ones among you to outdrink their competitors, with Thrungi casually still going after the captain of the Red Crest 5 has long since fallen unconscious from trying to keep up with the bearded dwarf.
He starts drinking out of his endless. He literally just brings out his the alchemy jug and just starts drinking from that.
Mayonnaise?
No. Plenty of beer. He does occasionally add like a drop of the absinthe to just make the human beer actually alcoholic to him.
Five of the 6 spheres are placed in the vault. I'm getting to it. 5 of the 6 spheres are placed in the vault at this point, when missives are sent to Vandis, saying that the Lord of Vandis' property is at the guild, and how should it be relayed, essentially. Also at this celebration, a long-eared, pale-skinned woman in beaten leathers is wandering around and catches your eye, Nyah, as Sadana has walked in. Well, I was certain your errand was foolish, and yet you live still.
So do you.
I make a habit out of staying alive, shall we say.
Wish I could say the same.
Well, you're still standing now, so what do you say you tell me the story of what happened? And she places a goblet of wine down in front of you.
If you want a story, first you must give me one of your own. You're not. What exactly are you?
I'm someone who doesn't like it when denizens of the abyss make the material plane their goal, shall we say. Roll me a religion check. Or an insight check, your choice.
What's that? Well, my insight is shit, so I'm gonna go for religion. 16.
16. Of all of the things in the world that hate demons, devils hate them more. And you see a flash of hellfire in her eyes for the briefest seconds. I make it my business to send them back where they belong. And it seems so do you. So.
Well, I like to raise a little hell.
Me too. You see slightly bared fangs, and she toasts a goblet of wine, and the two of you drink on. At some point, she does proposition is the word I'm looking for, that the two of you become partners in bounty hunting.
Sure, that's what she meant.
That is up to you as to whether you wish to take it.
I'll tell her I need to think about it, because I have some things to clear up first. But we'll stay in touch.
You know how to get hold of him. And we will let your imagination fill in the rest of the evening with a very attractive elf.
Air quotations.
Elf. Is there anything anyone would like to do at the Citadel in the immediate aftermath of everything?
I would like to go talk to Fidelis. complex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to like kind of ask for like a small conversation, like to the side.
Of course. And he puts down a very large tankard that he had. Kind of rivals Thrungi in size, but then again, Thrungi's also smaller. So Thrungi's is more impressive. And he wanders over to a quiet corner with you. Just out the way. Can I help you, Nyah?
I'm glad you're guildmaster now. You will lead the guild well. I just wanted to let you know that I will be leading the guild. I will always be happy to help when it is needed, and if you ever need me, just contact me. But I think the guild isn't quite what my younger self imagined, and I have other duties that I have long run away from, so I will not be a full-time member anymore.
The guild is losing a valuable sword arm. Have you mentioned this to your compatriots yet?
No, not yet.
I understand. Well, it was, I would say, a pleasure fighting alongside you, but if it's going to be like that every time, I'd rather not. But maybe on another field on another day, we shall share victory once again.
If fate so wills it.
Indeed. And he gives you another kind of warrior handshake, arm to arm. Enjoy the rest of your night. Don't dwell too much on the future now.
Good advice. I'll go back to drinking and partying.
Anyone else?
Just gonna want to wave at Vent across the room. Can't speak with him.
Vent is there. He doesn't appear to have fully ingratiated himself with the guild. Balthazar especially. There's an element of trepidation where he's still consciously aware of what he's done. And he's literally essentially walking around Interpol as a wanted mass murderer. But he's also kind of taking it for an opportunity and seeing where it leads, but knowing at any point he can probably get out.
I would like to dip out of the party and kind of not necessarily research. I'm going to be full nerd and write down stuff from the ritual, from what I remember, and notes on that, and kind of spend the rest of the night reverse engineering it and backtracking it and really fully understanding the ritual and trying to get more understanding of the crack and that stuff.
Yeah. You spend your time. You're essentially trying, if I understand correctly, to find out whether what happened to the hills can be undone.
I'm gonna, for one, write down essentially the ritual that I saw on the ground and make sure I've got that as like solid. So if I need to, I can give someone else it and
100%
write down an understanding of it.
Yep.
Like a breakdown. So just casually throw together a thesis on it in like 2 hours. That's fine. Easy.
22 intelligence, easy.
22 intelligence, you know, casually adopt all people. They're easy, right, out the ammo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I haven't written it yet, but I'll do it in an hour.
Anyway, yeah, with that, and then kind of reverse engineer it a bit.
Cool. I'm not going to make you roll Arcana for that. We're going to say that it's a process. And time is taken to achieve something over the years, months, what have you. But it is a start of what you're doing now. as you understand, at its basic principle, the ritual is nothing more than opening a gateway for something. But you also know that with conjuration, the something needs an equal amount of power on one side to pull it through. And when you're trying to pull through a god, the first demon ever created, it needs something quite considerable to achieve. But it's a start towards something. Anyone else? If not, the drinks and music go long into the night, and the coming days, the guild recovers as best it can. People are moved back to Cirastir. You get a letter from Vandis, or get a reply anyway, which simply states, have the goats deliver it. And so the 5 of you take a short day trip.
Excusez-moi. I have a bottle of wine as a personal gift from Constantine and a teleport spell.
Yeah, that's what I mean by day trip.
Okay.
You
No
teleport there. Didn't you drink that bottle of wine?
I still have the bottle.
Fair enough.
Did you think of an empty
He's
bottle?
just, he's such a hoarder.
Not to mention, it's a very fancy bottle. Not to mention, we have knives that Balthazar's holding. We have stuff from that.
To be fair, the knives aren't from there.
Yeah, but they're where we got them.
Yeah. Anyway, you teleport over, and Emilio is waiting for you along with a fully cooked meal.
Oh, this is
Excellent,
nice.
yeah.
We're getting a royal treatment.
Rambear, roll me perception.
He said,
I will, even if I think it's poisoned, Rambear's still eating it. That is
he's like, don't care if it's
15.
15. You swear there is a faint bulge of something underneath his very tightly bound cuff. Hidden from view entirely. There's a subtle rise of the cuff that shouldn't be there. It is a tense dinner where Constantine probes you endlessly about his former son.
Still his son. Just very much
Yeah.
dead.
Disowned, if nothing else. Wanting the details on his death, and he seems satisfied by the nature of it. The sphere he takes with... He never touches it. When you present it, wrapped in a sturdy lead-lined case provided by the guild, you do open it to show him it, and there is a palpable sense of all of the lights in the room dimming. At which point you see it begin to levitate out of the box and just kind of orbit gently in front of him, almost like he is inspecting it. It is good to know that I can trust you to keep your promises. Is there anything else you would request of me?
only that you keep it safe.
I guarantee I don't promise to have any more unruly children.
and ideally that you don't use it on others.
Very well. You are invited to stay the night if you wish.
Is there
Is it me?
wine?
Plenty.
Is Emilio joining?
Emilio
Sleepover?
is serving dinner.
Can Emilio join us for drinks after?
Not while you're with Constantine.
After hours party with Emilio.
Emilio, you do make a request for wine to be delivered to your room, which you are all in one room at this point. And Emilio does arrive with a case of wine.
Yeah, man, we asked for a boss and he comes with a case. I love
and
Emilio.
He gently places it in the room and wishes you a good evening before beginning to turn away.
Whoa, 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 Emilio. You're one of us. You're an honorary goat. Come, you have to join us.
He briefly looks around nervously.
Like, well, we don't know when we're all going to be in the same room again together. We've got a lot to celebrate.
Roll me a persuasion check.
My man Emilio's not getting away now.
I mean, I could do. I'm just going to abuse it now because it's a different day. I could do the Magnificent Mansion.
What's your roll, Emma?
Room.
Nat
No,
20, baby.
go in there and
Emilio
not-
stays.
Emilio says, well, if the Lord's honoured guests want me to stay and serve drinks, then it would be rude for me not to.
Well, we do need someone to taste the drinks before.
With us.
You know, as a safety precaution, you know?
Yes. So,
It would also be very, very rude for you to be the only sober person in the room. Pretty awful.
you convince him well enough, be that through your own charm or the fact that, for once, Constantine on Races appears to be in a pleasant mood. And Emilio does share some wine with you. You drink for a while. I mean, dinner didn't start till quite late in the evening anyway. And Faendal, you swear it should probably be dawn by now. But it is still dark outside.
The sphere's influence has returned. Landis is once again in eternal night. Do we do the right thing?
Party weather.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing worse than waking up in the morning with a pounding headache and then opening the shutters and it being so light outside, you know?
I think we should respect the fact that they're night people. They're night owls, you know? They're not...
You see the large bat-like creature go past the window.
They party all night long, and all night long is all the time.
All the time.
So, all party.
Bandis has really grown on me.
Just have an idea of a really cool society.
The Society of Eternal Ravers.
It's the start of Blade.
Alright.
Eventually you return to the guild and continue to go about your lives. I think we will take a break there, and when we return, we will see how everyone's epilogues goes. Let's see in a bit. welcome back to the epilogue of our grand campaign. This has been near enough 5 years, so take your time on whatever you want to say, but does anybody particularly want to go first?
I guess Balthazar's is nice and simple for the main part. I'd like at some point to just go up to the Shattered Teeth and spend, I don't know, possibly like 6 months just trekking up there and trying to find the place where the sphere was stored up there, just as like closure, because he was being called to the Teeth for so long. Just to try and close that out in his mind, basically. And then just head back to Gulat and sort of live out his days peacefully. He's got a shitload of gold, so doesn't really need to work ever again. And just sort of live out his days peacefully with whatever gold he has, and I don't know, he'll probably end up finding something to do throughout his time, but nothing big in terms of like adventures or anything. He's done with adventuring. He went out for a few years, and that's more than enough.
Well, his reason for leaving, after all, was just to see what life was like beyond the village.
Exactly.
I think he got plenty of that, to be fair. Your exploring of the Shattered Teeth does take time. One of the things worthy of note is that during this period, the Shattered Teeth starts to become covered in ice and begins, it's still a while off yet, but begins to almost form up into a single landmass with ice connecting the various islands up together. Like the normal environment of the area so far north has begun to retake effect.
What sphere was it that was stored there?
It was the classic sphere, the one that messed with temperature, specifically. Your travels take you a while, and at various points you do get caught up with the pirates that live among the coves and shores there. Probably having to put a fair few who think you're easy pickings down with your various monk skills and spiritual dragons eating their faces off. But you eventually do come across a hidden cove that you do recognise from your visions. A broad, open-mouthed kind of cave entrance sits at water level. You venture further in to understand further, and you realise that it burrows down into the earth itself. You have to at one point swim underwater for quite a while before coming up into a tunnel system with its own pockets of air. It's a extensive cave system, and you take your time exploring it. And what you find are signs of a almost alien civilization with broken bodies of these like 8-foot tall humanoids with smooth heads and like tentacles that come down in front of their faces, ripped apart, some decaying from necrosis, and the like, clearly signs of battle and conflict across all of these halls. Eventually coming to, I mean, they're all empty. The entire thing is abandoned at this point beyond the corpses. You eventually come to a large chamber bedecked in runes that do make your eyes hurt. They're not of a language you recognise in any way, shape or form. A sludgy matter sits at the centre of the room. Roll me a medicine check.
17.
17. This thing looks like a giant brain. that is riddled with cancerous tumours and slash marks and the like. And also, you see a bowl-shaped piece of stone, again covered in runes, that looks like it would have held a sphere.
There's definitely like some closure. That's where it would have been, and this is what we would have had to fight if we'd come in here.
Mm-hmm. But resolved that you avoided one other horror at least, you return to Andat and meet back up with your mother. Spend your days training at the monastery, aiding both the clerics and the monks of either side with your well-earned skills. Who'd like to go next? Thrungi?
Thrungi's one is kind of simple. He stays a member of the guild, more or less. But before, kind of during that, he ends up, in quotes, heading home to tell the story to the Skalds and let them know what happened and how everything's gone. And then he travels from Dwarven Hold to Dwarven Hold, taking on oaths of those who believe that their oath is lost, so that nobody else has to follow the path that he has. And as the years go on, and still his fate is fateless, his hair slowly grows whiter, until he is eventually known as the grey-haired dwarf, his name lost in time.
You have your experiences with the guild during this time, but nothing really lives up to the threat that you defeated anyway. Skalds greatly appreciate having the story to tell of the dwarven hero and his 4 allies who held back the darkness and banished it back to where it came. It doesn't take long for legends like that, especially as names begin to fade and stories are retold and told, that the lines blur as to whether it's the same dwarf that recovered the forge at the base of Carrot-Grungon. But there's one elderly noble who's far too posh for most dwarves, who tells his great-grandchildren that it was the dwarf that got him his noble seat in the far northern reaches of the mountains. To pass it off as an old man's fantasies, but he knows. And the grey-haired dwarf goes down in legend. Some occasionally seeking him out to answer their own flaws and failures. A fair few bards try to seek him out to get his full story. Don't know whether he accepts them or not.
Some, those he deems worthy.
But yes, he becomes a folk tale among especially the dwarves of Carrot-Grungon, who like to claim ownership to him somewhat. And occasionally he's seen alongside a bear, a golden-haired woman with disturbing eyes. Rambear, would you like to go?
Yes. So Rambear returns to Siristir. They return to the Sacred Coral Grove, but they have a lot of time sat there thinking, many years have passed. They try their best to help restore the land that was made barren during Zenedis' little visit. And they think about the adventures that they shared. They were lucky enough to work alongside with amazing people, with a mighty healer, both agile and kind in equal measures. When they got to work with a faithful soldier with more compassion in her squeaky armor than most people have in their entire being. They remember a ruthless warrior with a passion for redemption and for all that is just and right. And they also remember working with a silly old magic man who did not care for the laws of man nor magic. And they think about all of the lives that they improved and the diplomats that they really pissed off along the way. But there is another one that they think about. A pure and innocent little goat. And so Rambear makes the difficult decision to leave briefly to try and find Ram.
Do you take anyone with you?
As the legal owner and buyer of Ram, I will accompany.
I think
Yes.
everyone will go.
I think everyone would. I
I-
think after 5 years, maybe, or 3 years, Rambear sends a letter. It's time.
Rambear waits 3 years?
There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of things to think about.
Rambear is old.
How long do goats live?
I'll have to go
Long enough.
first. How old was Ram?
I don't know.
Go.
She didn't make milk. That was like an issue, right? No, Ram's a man.
Ram's a boy goat.
Maybe that was the issue.
They can live up to 20 years.
Fuck yeah.
Fine.
Generally 8 to 12, but they can live up to 20.
So, do you try to reminisce a little bit and make it a trek? Do you use your magical taxi service?
We
Kind of liked the initial trip down when we all shaved ourselves and were really uncomfortable. And apparently everybody except for Balthazar is really poor because Balthazar walked off with the Greek money.
Fucking loaded,
Oh,
motherfucker.
I
I
just don't
imagine-
think I spent any of it.
No, you did
The
not.
end.
I
You
imagine
sold
we,
everything instead.
I imagine we teleport down to Balthazar's village and then we do a smaller journey from there.
But with like
The
a really
smaller
nice
journey,
caravan,
the full
a
width of
lovely-
the Ashbar Desert. Okay.
we have a really nice like traveling hut though.
We have a mansion every night, so
Yeah. You, whether by luck, chance, or design, manage to almost retrace your steps from Andat towards Kulat, passing the ancient obelisk that gave you directions, including to the sorrowful city of Mamara, where not too long ago, well, now quite a while ago, the true extent of your paladin's sword was revealed to you, and nearly came to full blows with your dwarf. You also passed the meeting of rivers, where you know there to be a temple beneath. Up to you whether you wish to say hello to the Sphinx that guided you so long ago.
I'm assuming that we're going in and like revisiting all our conversations and dropping off like, I guess, Goat's memorabilia. It's probably going to get really valuable over the next few years, you know.
you're reminded of the gorgeous desert flowers that grow in that oasis, Rambear, and the restorative waters within it that help some of your lingering wounds from various effects you endured during your adventures. Eventually you make your way to the mountainside where the entrance to Kulat is. It's both not changed and changed from when you were last here. It's still a craggy bluff side that doesn't particularly show much sign of an entrance. But looking where you did enter previously, you can see it bears some damage that wasn't there before.
Just been rammed a load of times by some unknown creature.
You hike up to the side and enter in, and the magnificent hall chamber that Sphinx you once met and who once challenged you to a game of wit is destroyed. Columns broken apart, stonework crushed and scorched black. There is no sign of anything. A few spare bones of humanoid-esque shapes, but no sign of a grand sphinx or a mighty ram. Would someone like to roll an investigation check?
I shall do so.
Somebody who's good at investigating, please.
I am fairly good. It's only a plus 11, so 26.
26. You take your time walking around, investigating, looking for any sign. And you begin to lose some hope with no sign at all of any evidence that there was once a goat here. Is there some comfort that you can't even find bones or a corpse? Maybe. But you also remember 4 goat-like beings being used in the siege of the citadel to break down the gates. And an element of sadness seeps in. Until Faendal, underneath a torn up rug at the back of the room, you find a small opal-like gem, sandy tiger eye almost effect to it, that appears to have a carved in design that's too perfect to have been etched, almost like it's magically imprinted upon, curving like a ram's horn.
I'll pick it up and pass it to Rambear.
Rambear looks at it
Think of him.
and sniffs it.
Smiths.
Gives it a little lick.
Smells
Is
of
it
dust and
magical?
sand.
Think of him.
And Rambear closes their paw around it.
You close your eyes and remember the bold and valiant ram that trekked with you through deserts and undead hordes and ghouls. And close your eyes and remember.
The trauma.
And the rest of you notice a faint shimmering blue, like floating water and starlight ram fade into view next to Rambear.
Open your eyes.
No, I'm thinking.
Open your eyes.
No. I'm
All
remembering.
just dicks are in the back.
Oh my god, what the hell? My baby! And Rambear's gonna just scoop up Ram like a little child and just cuddle them.
Rambear is incorporeal. Ram is incorporeal.
Rambear is gonna scoop up Ram in their arms and is just gonna hold them. The ram is gonna let itself be held like this. Rambear needs it.
It is a ghost. It floats up. Faendal, do you want to roll me an Arcana check?
Only a 33.
You've read about these things. They are wraith stones. They're quite rare, but they are designed to hold the spirit of a particularly beloved animal companion. Either to occasionally to just grant them immortal life, especially archdruids especially make use of them with their elongated lifespans, or in certain situations to save them from an unfair death. While it is on someone's person, a spectral version of the animal contained within can walk alongside them.
I've been wearing the entire time the necklace with the thing that held my Paragon Stone. Can I take that off, give that to Rambear, and put the Wraith Stone in it so it's now wearable?
It only just fits around Rambear's wrist.
It becomes a bracelet.
I've posted what the magic item does in the in-game chat.
This isn't useful in combat at all.
Ram has seen enough action. Thank you all for coming here with me. This was something that really, I don't know, I think I kept it pretty cool, but I thought about this a lot. I kept on the DL. I was very subtle about it, but I was really missing Ram. And I'm sure that he and Rambear goes to like pet him, and just the hand just goes right through. He's like, oh. I'm sure that he also really appreciates you guys coming all this way to help me find closure.
Blah. Does his best to
How
nuzzle.
is it incorporeal?
Do you think the Sphinx?
How is it incorporeal but it affects the sound waves and the air in the thing? No, it's break.
Faendal doesn't know about sound waves. This physics is not.
Faendal has a breakdown.
Faendal does interdimensional mathematics. Faendal knows about sound waves.
No, you asked a question.
Yeah. Do you think the Sphinx did this?
One last act of kindness.
The best goat in the world?
He
I think
promised
she did.
It was the last oath the Sphinx gave. They'd protect the goat.
Just from behind you, you just hear Thrungi go, Ram is the best goat. in the world.
The greatest goat of all time. Go.
Just writing that down.
The what?
The greatest goat of all time.
Go.
Your efforts in Cirastir are fruitless for a very long time. On a basic level, there is no nutrients or anything in the soil for any life to take. But it even seems resistant to druidic magic efforts to reinstate it. Upon your return with Ram, Zened hands you something that you gave him a few years ago. A sprig of the coral tree. Well, if after all this time, even that goat is by your side, we should give this one last try, I think. And he treks into the wastes with you and a handful of other druids from the Coral Tree Grove. Whereupon you meet the stationed guild members about the ritual site, who still to this day are preventing people of malicious intent from investigating. And you begin a very long ritual in the hopes that something will take root. Cycles of sun and stars go through with barely a notice. At the end of it, that sprig of a coral tree sees one small bud just break from one of the branches. You see Zened's staff, which you long gave back to him, fade entirely as its last magics are given up in an effort to kindle life in a place where no life should possibly be. It's a start, but we must keep trying.
And so Rambear is going to swear to protect this area of the forest and to keep on working to try and restore life and the natural order to a place, in the hopes that one day it won't be an ugly scar, but a verdant area where hopefully other little druids can run around and make friends with weird people from around the world. And also, we're going to throw really cool parties here one day.
Faendal, Nyah, which of you wants to go?
I can go.
You want to go?
Okay, so the morning after the party at the guild, I'm gonna send a letter to my parents, just to let them know that I'm alive, that the world is saved, that they can stop, that they don't have to evacuate anymore, that everything's fine, and that I will come and see them. But I just need to do something first, so they can expect me in like the next following weeks. But just like, I don't want to worry them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then I would like to take a trek to Machia's temple, which is not too far off long ago. A little bit.
The first temple you found her, or the large city under the mountains?
The large city in the mountains.
You meet up with Dallo again, who offers to help you find the entrance to it again. His various words of cheerful, cheesy encouragement keep you going on the day's journey it is to the entrance. But you eventually find it and are welcomed in by the Insular Drow Society there, seeing especially the state you are now in with your appearance. During those days and weeks post-fight with Zenedis, you are aware of Sakiel's power slowly returning to the blade.
I would like to tell the crowds that I want to go into the spider's embrace once more to speak to my goddess face to face.
They have no reason to prevent you at this point. The last time you were here, you were facing a crisis of confidence of your oath. And as far as they can see, that has been comfortably dealt with to the point of being a true champion of fate. And so they acquiesce to your request, and you are wrapped up in the spider silk, in the large web deep within the temple. And eventually you fade into the blackness and the uncomfortable but comfortable embrace. And your consciousness comes to in the dark and silk wrapped space you know to be Natoya's domain, where she, in her half spider, half female form, rests upon a web network of silver and black threads. You wish to speak to me, champion?
I seek answers. I think I have earned them.
I think you have earned the right to ask.
There was a time when we were first facing Zenedis where you urged me to let him go and spare his life. Did you foresee things ending well? Or was that a gamble?
There is no true knowledge of fate, even for one such as myself. I simply see where threads lead as best as I can. Everything is always an element of a gamble. Tell me, do you doubt the action was the right one?
We could have ended him much sooner if I had not let him go that one time. But I don't doubt that whatever did not happen, what has happened is that he is now dead, and so we have succeeded.
She scuttles down closer to look you more up close. Tell me, if you had indeed ended him there, what wouldn't have happened?
Countless have died.
And others have risen. Where did you go following that first meeting with him?
Suppose we seeked out spears and allies that we would not have seeked out otherwise.
You found a blade worthy of a champion. A blade capable of ending a herald of the end. Would you have found that if you had struck him down there?
I suppose not.
Would you have faced the trials of temptation and deceit from a being of the abyss and turned yourself away from me only to realize the strength I provide?
I suppose not.
Would you have found the strength within yourself to return from death not once but twice in aiding your own friends without having such a goal to drive for?
That I could not say.
Moves back. I think the gamble was more than worth it. For both of us and everyone.
On to my second question. Why did my brother have to die?
Fate is complicated. And it needs conviction. Doubt and attachments to a former life only cloud your judgment and dedication to the necessary cause.
So it was a test.
Of sorts.
Something you chose for him, not something that had to happen then.
It was a test to see whether I could trust one such as yourself to mete out fate when it was needed.
On to my third and final question. Has my oath to you been fulfilled?
I suppose that is for you to answer. If you wish to remain the banner bearer of the threads of fate, that is within your course. But while fate demands of all of us, we command our own destinies if we wish.
Well then, here is my proposition to you. I will continue to champion fate when it is within my power, but I will no longer set aside my own personal duties to serve you in this. I will have my own life. I will be loyal to whom I choose to. I will protect those that I want to protect, and I will never again take the life from those that you wish me to take just for the sake of trust. If you can accept that, I will continue to serve you in whatever way I can. And if not, then here ends my journey with you.
Roll me your choice of persuasion or intimidation and let me know which.
Okay.
Persuasion.
I'm gonna roll persuasion.
It's a shame. I would really love for you to intimidate a
I'm
god.
gonna try and be nice. Never mind, that was a shit roll. 10.
You have inspiration from these fight that you never used.
Oh, okay.
Do.
In that case.
Because I don't think any of you used inspiration in that fight.
I did.
In that case,
Saved
it
my
is
life.
a 19.
A 19. There is a tense impasse for longer than you would like. I think I believe you have enough understanding of what is needed and when. But I will leave you with a guide who will help you make decisions that are harder.
So I may keep Accalion?
Until such time that you are done with him, myself, and this world, it seems fitting.
Then may fate run its course. I'm gonna just slightly bow to her.
I'll see you soon.
Oh my god.
She crawls back up the web,
Good
and
night.
you come back to feeling the tight stricture of the silk webbing that you are in.
Okay. I will say my goodbyes to the Dwarf and tell them that, I'll come visit again. Keep up the good work. No need to bow.
You give them the drow handshake on the way out.
And yeah, I'll make my way back to the guild. I will tell Dal all about it because at this point he's my therapist. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna tell
That
him.
sounds heavy!
Yeah,
Not
I'm
gonna
gonna tell
lie.
him everything, like from day one, every detail, everything.
It is a full-on session on the way back, and he just lets you talk, occasionally like offering commentary, but lets you get it all off your chest, because that's clearly what you need.
Yeah, before I leave him, I'll just say, Dal, you've been one of my first ever friends when I thought I wasn't able to make friends, so I hope you know that you are always welcome wherever I am. And I do hope you'll visit Adon Principality. It is quite beautiful there.
I mean, if I've got a standing order, how could I say no? Sounds
Well.
wonderful. Tell you what, do you have like large fields? Could we do a campfire? I'm very good with a song.
It is perfect for campfires. Just picture
Excellent.
large meadows, horses roaming free.
Yeah, I mean, sounds much more fun than here. I'll visit you plenty.
Good.
Just hire him. Hire him, he can live at yours.
And then I will make my way home, see my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. I'm alive.
You are met with the warmest hugs from your parents that, to be honest, you can remember.
Aw.
Your mother is openly crying. Your father is being resolute as best he can.
I'm gonna sit them down. I'm basically gonna just come clean. I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna go into more detail as to why I left them in the first place, how I didn't feel like I was in control of my own fate, and I felt the need to carve out my own path. In doing so, I swore an oath to a goddess, which I was naive to do so, but in retrospect, if I hadn't, perhaps the world would be gone right now, so do I get a pass for that?
Call it even.
I'm gonna tell them that I'm the one that killed Jasper, and that it is my biggest regret, and that if they wish me to leave, I shall, but if they'll have me, I would like to make up for that by finally stop the running away, and I'm here to fulfill my duties to this estate, to this family, and to do what Jasper can no longer do.
The immediate response to the exact nature of Jasper's death are met with uncomfortable silence for a long time, and your mother excuses herself from the remainder of the conversation. Your father does his best to allay your fears as to how they would respond, but it's clear that he is shaken up by it too and needs his own time to process. There is an awkward few days around the estate. You spend the time in the stables, riding the horses. Your mother doesn't come out of her room for a while. It's during these days, though, that Jasper's body arrives, having been sent up from the guild, along with the sword you later rest with him. And your father organises a proper funeral for him. He is buried on the family estate alongside former members of the family, your grandfather and onwards. The sword is buried with him in the hopes it, as you said at the time, guides him on his journey in the afterlife. It's during the ceremony of burial that your mother, she hasn't spoken a word to you, just gently holds your hand and gives it a squeeze. She never really comes out with her exact feelings of it. It's not in her nature to exactly go into that level of emotion. But she definitely is more affectionate, glad to have you around, and is open to your ideas on things. And between her polishing up your noble training at times, and your father teaching you the elements of running the estate, you eventually are in a fit enough state, you feel, that when the time comes, that you can handle the Terran name moving forwards. Of course, there is the matter of continuing the family line, but that is a problem for another time.
Food tonight, I can think about that.
I will say, because fuck it, magic, lesbians can have natural born children. Homosexual men is a little harder even with magic, but you know, we can try.
That'd be weird. Yeah, I'll basically stay at the Terran state. I will occasionally leave to travel. I think I'm quite intent on opening up Accalion to aiding other parts of Accalion, since Adam is quite prosperous.
You meet up with the grey-haired dwarf in the Bleak Fen steppes now and again to deal with orc raiders and gnoll problems.
I organize. I'm gonna start a program with the youth of Adhelm, where boys and girls alike are able to every summer spend 2 fortnights honing their adventuring skills, and I proclaim that Dallo be the leader of this project. So it essentially becomes a summer camp.
Oh, I love it so much.
And I also 2 fortnights. So you mean a month? So you mean a month?
It is my whole month.
But at summer camp?
And eventually, if it's successful, it will open up to youths from other parts of Accalion, and we'll just become movement.
I want to see Vandis youths turn up. Very Wednesday Addams.
I love it so much.
You've got seriously youths who are like total hippies, and then Vandis turning up in like Pilgrim outfit.
It's got real franchisability as well, because like Thrungi can open one up in the north.
Stephen
I'm
can open
really-
one.
One in
Balthazar can open one down in Andat.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really picturing now that this is going to turn into like a boarding school.
No. What it turns into is like cadets, but for the guild.
Ooh.
Like guild cadets.
That would be a good way for me to honor my I'm still helping the guild, but I'm no longer part of the guild kind of thing.
Guild cadets. Not to mention the guild's been like on downhill. They need an up.
Yeah, they need to know.
Yeah.
So that I think that will further establish the Terran name, who will become like extra successful from it.
It does indeed.
And then I think further into the future, like 5 years later or so, I'm gonna propose to my parents. It has been 5 years since we saved the world. With your blessing, Mother, I would like to put your training to use and organize my very first ball. If you would like to help me, that'll probably be
Yes! Oh, I thought you would never ask. Right. Dresses first or furniture first?
I think
No!
invitation-
Theme first. Always theme. Then the others come with it. Come! She just drags you off.
And I would like to make it a celebration to life ball. That would be kind of the theme. Celebrate the 5th year anniversary, and of course, all the goats, including Brown Ram, are invited. I'd also like to extend a VIP invitation to both Dallo and Pedalis, as well as Balthazar's mum, because she's amazing, and Janet, obviously. Who else am I missing?
Janet's got 2,000 years of party experience.
I like to think that every year one of us has organised something that's been really informal and just the 5 of us, and then on the 5th year now it's like, I'm gonna show you all up.
This is how you do things.
So yeah, so it's gonna be like VIP invites for the guests of honor, the goats, and then everyone else is kind of invited to this ball.
I love it.
That's it for me.
I love it. There was a wonderful amount there. Faendal, you're last.
Alright. Back to victory dinner at the guild. Actually, afterwards, the day afterwards, after doing some research and stuff, Faendal is going to attempt to do a similar slip away that he did at the party and kind of disappear for a bit offwards. But beforehand, he wants to go and find Ven for a conversation with Ven.
Mm-hmm.
I find him, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to make roll investigation? Minimum
He's
of 12.
around the citadel. It's
He approaches Ven and goes, look, we don't know each other very well, but I feel like we bonded quite well.
yeah.
I feel like you're a good friend. I'm getting very much on in my years. It's hard for an elf to think about their death, but
I mean, you are very old.
you keep reminding me. Yes, I appreciate it.
It's my job.
Very old. I've still got decades left, a couple of decades left, but
Don't
only
believe you.
maybe 2 or 3.
There we go.
But the fighting that we've done in this past few years has literally aged me more than it should have. I'm beginning to feel my bones ache. It's a struggle to walk without my stick. I need to pass on my knowledge. By 400 years I spent in the library. 400 years and not a single student. I did odd classes, I provided some knowledge, I had people under me, but no true apprentice. I would be honoured if you would accompany me and become mine.
Okay. Couple of questions. 1. Do we have to go on a ship across and deal with the Kraken again?
Potentially.
Then no.
I can. Oh, you don't have to join me on that.
Okay.
But I'd be very disappointed if you don't.
That Kraken was one of the worst things that ever happened to me, and I've died. So,
Fair enough.
if there's a better way with your magic and stuff, let's do that.
Okay.
But, if I'm honest, the whole fire killing thing is getting a bit tiring. And I would love for it to just be easier.
I don't promise that it'll be easier. It's a lot of reading.
Will it be less bloody?
Definitely less bloody.
Then I'm in.
Okay. You will need to leave now. I'm leaving now. I will return. I'm not abandoning everyone, but there are some things I've got to do.
Sure. Can I grab stuff first or right now?
Meet me at the teleportation circles in an hour.
Gotcha. And he runs off.
I'm going to wander and enjoy the sights for a bit, for an hour. I'm not saying bye to everyone yet, because it's not a goodbye forever. But it's a goodbye for a bit.
Yeah.
Wander, enjoy the sights. Look at it's like early morning before everyone's mostly up, watching the waterfall before I head to the teleportation circles to meet Ben. And I'm going to teleport us to Vethrion's tower, the blue tower. And I'm going to explain to Ben that we're going to see what I thought was a friend of mine. I haven't figured out if he was killed or if he was never the person I thought he was to begin with. Because someone attacked us disguised as him.
You guys dealt with a lot, didn't you?
Yeah. Very fucked up.
That's over now, right? I didn't sign up to more.
No more fighting.
Cool.
There'll be none there. Either we find my friend, we find my friend's body, we find out my friend was not my friend.
Hello?
Have we teleported him? Yeah, okay. This is Bethrion's voice?
It is.
Bethrion!
Oh, hello, Faendal.
Hello.
I take it then your apocalypse averting efforts were successful?
They were indeed incredible, and you helped massively.
I'm glad glad I was.
Assist me. I just, this is going to sound strange. You did assist me, and I came to you and you helped research, and then I teleported away to further into Adhelm, yes?
Yes, that's correct.
And you are not a Rakshasa in disguise.
Where's this coming from?
Can I detect guys? Rakshasas are immune to low-level magic. Can you prove that you're not a Rakshasa in disguise?
I don't. I suppose, do you have some rudimentary magics that I would prefer to be unharmful that could take effect on me?
I'll do a 7th level dispel magic. That should dispel any illusions.
There is a faint glimmer when that happens of something underneath. Not furry, but something almost too sharp, too clean and perfect. The ears look almost twice as long. The eyes glint with iridescent hue before he goes back to the triple braided silver hair and robes you're used to. Well, I think that was somewhat successful, so I mean, my hands are still on the right way, so does that allay any concerns? Why do you think I'm a Rakshasa?
After you helped me and I teleported away, got to my friend's hold deeper into our dome, you came to us in the house saying you had discovered something important
I most certainly didn't.
and then stabbed me in the back.
Why would I do that?
And
I
then
mean-
it was
I'm not one for knives.
no, and it turned out it was a Rakshasa that we had met before in disguise. And so you can understand why.
Ah, yes.
You are hiding something from me, though.
I'm hiding something from everyone, dear.
Understandable. I would like you to meet my friend, Vent, and my
Ah.
new apprentice.
Oh, an
Absolutely.
apprentice. How wonderful for you. I've never
Um,
taken one on myself, but I'm sure Master Faendal here would do very well for you. Cheers. We down here?
We are going to travel across the sea once more. We're going to teleport, if you don't mind me using your teleportation circle.
Oh, no, certainly.
We are going to return not too long, hopefully. I will be sending Vent alone.
Okay.
I made the journey there once on my own. To Siron and spent 400 years ago there. I need to make the journey back alone as well. Properly. Say goodbye to it properly. I will return and tell you my tales. I owe you many tales, do I not? And then I think me and Vent need to find a wizard tower for us. Do you know of any available?
I mean, I made this one myself, so I would recommend doing that.
Could you assist?
Make it interesting enough for me, and maybe...
We could be neighbours.
Perhaps not. But share me your teleportation circle and we'll at least be close in that way.
To be fair, my methods are a bit too experimental. Wouldn't want to be very close to
Just-
mine either.
Excuse me for asking. Are you not too old to be travelling alone?
Probably. I hope to survive. I've sailed ships before. Did I tell you once that I sailed from Forlond to Kiron?
Yes, but I'm willing to assume that you were a few centuries younger at that point, so... I'm just saying, take precautions, maybe. Maybe let someone who can come to your aid know where you're going to be.
You know what? I think I have just the person. I will not go alone. Thank you very much. They should still be in Kiron. If not, I'll wait for them. I'll have an experienced person on hand to help me back. But I
Excellent.
need to command a ship once more.
Relive your youth.
Thank you very much, Fethria. We shall see you soon.
Pleasure.
And then, Faendal's like crossing stuff off checklists now. It's a busy day. Yeah, busy day. Chopping stuff off list. Gonna go to Kiron through teleportation circle. And being prepared to be arrested.
It doesn't happen immediately. It's not like they're waiting for you. But you are very swiftly accosted by guardians. Not arrested, but there are questions that the masters would have of you. Specifically, why is the tower you used to claim residence to currently bedecked in ice? And upon walking through, you look at that tower, it's like it got hit by a frost ray, and there is just a crystal of ice all around it.
Speeding up, I'll explain the whole situation, complete honesty, complete every single bit of the tale.
There's no way they don't believe it with how insane it sounds.
I'll offer to go get it myself, but if anyone wants to assist me, I can, and I want it kept in storage. The guild is offering to keep it in storage and safe, but if they just want to send it there, but I understand that there are storage places within the library. It's not going to be permanent. I am going to be looking for a way to permanently deal with them, but that might take some time and I need them stored safely.
The guild does take possession of it. There is 3 separate mages casting anti-magic field when it is collected. Through either paranoia, fail-safes, or it takes that much. And over the days, the ice does slowly melt. A cordon is set around the tower to avoid people getting hit by falling chunks of it. But it is taken down into the vaults deep beneath even the dark library, underneath the Serenity.
I'll go around during that period of time. Do you say a few days?
Yeah.
So I'm there for a few days. We'll explore the island. I'll reminisce about my time on the island. Take Vent to different places, see the sights, explore. Because we only explored a small town. Explore the whole island.
Okay.
Go to the library. The Dolmen Gate is... Was it destroyed or is it still...
It was very badly damaged. It wasn't entirely destroyed.
I want to record the knowledge of it and gift it to the library as an apology, so that even though it is forbidden, they have that knowledge, and give them information from the other library, the hidden library.
Library of
Eritrea, but not tell them how to get there, just the information I got from there. And was there a way to contact it without going there, or is it just...
A sending spell does work across planes some of the time.
Well, I'll give them hopefully the idea of where to send the sending plane, or how to work out where to send the sending stuff.
You're the only person that knows someone there. But you can learn sending at the library relatively easily.
Can I do... I'll sort that out another time. I'll say that I met it, I'm going to sort out the communication system. We'll get that lost knowledge back. Clear out my whatever's left of my room properly. That'll allow me to. Books and valuable stuff. Say goodbye to the people who actually liked me. Not many. What else was there? Donate the books that I've got, because I've got quite a lot of books. Getting rid of them. And then there was one more thing at the library.
What are you thinking about that, M?
No,
The finger. I'm gonna say that Rambear probably would have given Faendal the bag of colding with them.
Nope, we're in the party. I'm coming back for it. You've got it for a few days. There's a note on your table.
Oh, still hungover. Haven't even noticed you're gone. Sorry.
While you guys were getting drunk, I went and did some nerd stuff, slept for 4 hours, got up in the morning and vanished. I am missing for a couple of weeks.
We're all like, where's Ven? And nobody's asked about Faendal.
Just the cops kind of finally turn up being like, alright, we need to arrest Ven. Where's he gone? But no, there's a note on Rambear's bedside table as part of that hour being like, don't bin the finger, don't feed it to the shark, don't touch it, leave it be.
What finger is this?
Claw.
Right, okay. Because I was like, the only finger you guys had was vents. What?
No,
And I know exactly what we can do with this claw as well.
Abaddon's claw. Okay, I'm with you.
Please do not resurrect Abaddon.
You know, you can't leave Rambear alone for too long with it.
Anyway, I mean, he wouldn't be a demon anymore. He'd be reborn as like a gnome or something.
No, because I would turn it into an extra planar once and see whether he becomes a celestial.
Solar. Anyway, no, the last thing that I do is I go around everywhere that I messed up on the library, specifically the pub, and apologise for my insanity.
It takes a lot of apologising, but eventually you're forgiven, somewhat.
And then I send Ven back to Veteran and say, I'll be there soon, but I need to do this. And I go down to the docks and wait until a familiar jeweled ship arrives and meets and look for Captain Ball.
The twin triangular masted ship of elven sleek design, yes?
I was going to be cocky and try to sail alone or row back like I got here. But I think a more peaceful and safe journey is in order. But I would like the feeling of captaining and sailing my own ship once more before I retire from the sea.
Well, one captain to another, I suppose I can let you have command for one last journey. But if a kraken turns up, I'm taking back control.
That's fine. If a kraken turns up, I'll blow it up.
That works.
Um,
And you begin sailing back out of Sapphire Bay, turning north to the Shattered Teeth, before completing your journey all the way around the northern headland, before eventually arriving back in Bay Falls quite a few weeks later after you left.
When I arrive in Bay Falls, I'm going to go to the main square where I made my initial oath of non-violence and snapped my sword. And I'm not going to say anything to them. It's not a big deal. There's... Where can I put it? Is there any like statues or fountains or anything like that?
Yeah.
Or any symbol of importance there somewhere?
Yeah, there's a number of statues of various old famous ship captains and admirals.
Is there one
Plenty
of them?
of fountains. There is not one of you.
I'm just gonna. I'm done. I want to finally fulfill my oath, and I kept the sword bit before, I think, but I don't want violence anymore. So I'm going to find one of these fountains that brings to me, and kind of leave the sword inside of it. Drop the sword into the water and have it gone.
It's fine for littering.
It's fine for littering, yeah.
It's a passing moment in the busy docklands, but for you,
End of a journey.
Yeah.
I'm done with follow-up. That's out of my mind now. Why not? There's more things. That's all the initial stuff. We'll go back to the guild, say hi to everyone, apologise for leaving, explain what I've done, count my journeys. See, the Shattered Teeth are beautiful. Some of you should end up going up there. They really should explore there. A great place to go.
Balthazar listens intently.
Ooh. And do whatever the rest of us do for a little time, but eventually, well, go back to Vethrian, explain what's happened. Vethrian and Vent are best mates now.
He's a little. They don't vibe.
No, okay. Me and Vent build a tower, build a wizard's tower. Where is the question now? Coastal.
You're still banned from Yarkui.
Still banned from Yarkui.
Vandis has a coast.
That's legitimately, I was kind of considering it. There's so many places we've never been. Menosing and know nothing about. The Howling Moors, Blackleaf Forest, no idea.
You're on mute, Em.
I think right at the. Oh, in fact, you know what? We're going to go far away. I want to be near enough to people. So, and I've kind of bonded with Rambear and bonded with Siristeer a lot. So, and Siristeer does have a coast. So, I think there's a river that ends at the sea in Siristeer. I might build a tower not too far away from that. Close to the grove, close to the guild, close to people connected with that nice coastal air. It's a safe haven for people. and then spend the rest of the time teaching Vent, researching stuff on the spheres, and trying to figure out a way to permanently finish the job. A much calmer, more sensible, more wizened, and much more aware of the fact that he ain't got very much time left. Faendal. Kind of trying to pass on knowledge to everyone. Not just the Vent, every other random person. He's just like, by the way, do you know this weird magical fact? You need to keep this and go away.
I'm imagining like Stephen Fry now.
Mix of Steve Fry with like Steve Irwin vibes as well.
Yes.
With like this nice beauty, and it's like a spell scroll. Yeah, and then sort out the sending thing with the set up some sort of telephone array with the library. Not to go back yet. He never visits Corond again in his life. But he has visitors to him. Because he is still a repository of knowledge. And he sets up some sort of sending array for them. And himself. He invents the telephone network.
Okay.
What we're going to call it. Yeah, and then, what is it, 5 years on? Gets an invite to a ball.
Yeah.
As everyone else.
Just because I have to ask before Faendal turns up at the ball, what's everyone else's ball attire? Celebration of life is the theme.
I'm gonna wear a massive golden dress that my mom probably designed. But I've sneaked in some like embroidered swords or something because like it makes sense, okay? Because like to be alive, sometimes you gotta fight stuff. So, like you need the weapons. It makes sense.
I love it. Thrungi? You're on mute, bro.
Thrungi is in his standard thing, boots, basically the equivalent of fantasy jeans. And then a red shirt.
How are his shoulder plates looking?
They got destroyed ages ago, I think.
They got melted in lava, if I remember correctly.
Has he got replacements? Maybe full dragon heads?
No, he hasn't replaced them. He's very much just as he is now. Probably some more tattoos.
Balthazar?
Don't really know. Just standard outfit, I think.
You're given... When the letter arrives, your mother picks it up first. And she is aware that it is a ball, after all, and refuses to let you go out in just plain. So the monastery gives you very nice vestments. They're not overly ostentatious or anything like that, but they're well tailored. Beautiful kind of ocean blues, cloud white with threads of like a sandy gold through them. Yeah.
He'll make sure he's polished his scales beforehand.
Rambear?
Rambear doesn't wear formal wear that often, to be honest. It's been about 5 and a little bit years since they had to get dressed up for a meal in a certain vampire's tower. But they still kept the dress / suit combo that Nyah helped them put together. Unfortunately, they kept it in a bag full of water and a shark. And so it's looking a little bit worse for wear. But Rambear's still pulling off that Victor Victoria, like shabby chic vibe.
I'd like to add that the invite specifically states that we should all be wearing our goat's friendship ribbons. Like,
Oh, Never taken off, baby.
Good, good.
I think Faendal gave it away.
Well, you're not welcome then.
Oh, he gave it to Ben. He gave it to Ben. No?
It was very. It's in my notes somewhere.
It was a nice one. I just give it away.
We have
Faendal.
another one made up.
The ball is well underway, and Faendal has not yet arrived.
Very late.
But Faendal?
I have this in mind. I just need to think about it. Problem is, what's stuck in my mind at the moment is we haven't addressed the finger, the claw. Do we address it, or is that going to be something that is going to be sorted out? Faendal forgot about it. Rambear's been like, Faendal left this note, he's left it for 5 years, I'm keeping it safe, I'm not touching it. Anyway. You're all in the ball. You're all dancing and partying. A bit disappointed because obviously your favourite elf hasn't turned up. And no Ven. When in the middle of the dance floor, a massive gust of wind as Flop drops into existence, an elf in a nightgown and a Vent in pyjamas. Faendal is looking extremely manic and goes, he's holding the invitation, which he had completely forgotten about, and is holding loads of notes and going, guys, goats, I've figured it out, I can do it, goats, assemble.
There is a record scratch equivalent from an orchestra. As just everyone turns. And I think that it's a wonderfully chaotic place to end our story with the goats.
I hope Vent's alright with him being... I don't know if he wears pyjamas. Faendal definitely wears a nightgown.
With a hat that's like floppy.
Yeah, definitely wears a floppy. He's turned up with the floppy hat is like sideways.
And the peacock is there also with a little nightcap.
With a nightcap. Yeah, the peacock absolutely has a nightcap. The peacock's still asleep on top of, like, Ven. So what I'm imagining is that basically Faendal figured out this thing, has run over to Ven, and Ven was asleep in bed with the peacock asleep on top of him in a nightcap. And Faendal has touched them and gone, come on, boom, and teleported them away.
Well, that's
And
been
we got out the claw whenever. Completely forgotten about the claw.
that's been 5 years. Perfectly summed up at the end, I think. But all good stories come to an end. So we'll close the pages on this one. Maybe we'll see our beloved heroes again. I mean, looks like Faendal's got something to say anyway. But until then, thank you for watching. Those of you who are, thank you 5 for playing and putting up with me. Thanks to Andrew and Hugh, who joined temporarily with mad characters that I've somehow had to end up doing voices for. But yeah, thank you. This was
Thank you, Gethin, for giving us this wonderful world, which made us laugh and cry, and we made the world's worst jokes on this in this game. Thank you so much for everything.
Couldn't have done it without you. But there's some more untold stories to tell. So until then, see you later.